You guys, I have to do a really quick intro because there's literally 8 billion things to talk about. It's Monday, which means a pop culture roundup, and literally so many things happened in the last 3 days. So with us every Monday to grace us with her wit, her wisdom, and so many other things, her insane knowledge of pop culture. Remember, you can go subscribe to her podcast called So True with Sophie Ross, and also her Substack, which actually did a great article piecing together a lot of the Army Hammer information, which we might get to today, but we also talked about last week. Anyways, Sophie Ross, welcome back to the show.
It's easy, like the birds and the bees and the 1, 2, 3s. I'm sorry.
We should do every pop culture story like in the beginning. I was talking about this with Ronnie from Watch What Crappens, and you know how they add? It seems like they add lyrics to it, like depending on what the storyline is. Like if it's Austin, of like he's not gonna learn without a woman in his life. Like, I feel like we should do a little lyric after each story of like, Ben got married to Jen. Boop, boop.
Wait, okay, so 2 things. First of all, I was just telling Ryan before we hit record that I've been spending the entire weekend just rewatching Southern Charm from the beginning because I like finally have a Peacock login. So I've just been like really just enjoying myself.
Wait. Do you mean enjoying you use that loosely, right? Enjoying yourself? Like I made myself watch Thomas Ravenel for like 2 hours today.
Wait, but like I forgot how iconic Southern Charm used to be. And I know I'm really, 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 really late to the game here, but I mostly like listen to true crime podcasts and like scammer stories. Like I always like the really deep, serious, like true crime, whatever podcasts. Like I really don't listen to a lot of pop culture podcasts except this one. But
Great save, Sophie. Great save.
But seriously, I'm like just saying that I'm so late to the game. I finally discovered Watch What Crappens. Like I hadn't discovered it. Like I had always heard about it, but I was like, like the pop culture podcasts aren't really my thing. I like more of like the produced story podcasts that are like about something creepy or weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was like, I really just need like a laugh or pick me up. And I heard it's really funny. I was crying laughing. Like
which one did you listen to?
I found an old, because I'm watching old Southern Charm. I found one old Southern Charm one, but I also listened to like another recent Southern Charm one, and just the Thomas Ravenel impressions. Like
I think Ben does. So you guys were talking, of course, about Watch What Crappens, which Ronnie and Ben do. And I was actually lucky enough to guest host on Friday because Ben's sick. And we did a Southern Charm one, but there wasn't really any Thomas Ravenel, thank God. But Ben does the best Thomas Ravenel. Like, I'll say so. It's kind of a little Sutton-y in a sense. Of like, I want to shoot that straight to the moon.
In the Shep impression, he's always like, Oh
gosh. Dude, I was on 2 hours with Ronnie and it was like, at times I forgot I was actually recording. I thought I was listening because I would just be laughing. I'd be like, and then I'd be like, I have to throw in. I'm glad you started at Southern Charm though, because it is an iconic show. It's also iconic because of what it's done to pop culture in terms of like, in today's pop culture, reality stars mixed with pop stars, mixed with movie stars, all of this stuff. And I think we have to hand today's big news item on Sunday, we really owe a lot of credit to Madison LaCroix, to Craig Conover, to A-Rod, because what happened this weekend, thank you, what happened this weekend is Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez tied the knot 20 years after they were going to say I do. And it all started, part of the reason this all started was because Madison let it out that she was flirting with A-Rod over Instagram DMs. Craig then drunkenly said it on the reunion. It exploded. J-Lo then broke up with A-Rod. Then we were in that period of time where she started meeting up with Ben Affleck, and we said this was a complete publicity stunt. And now a year and a half, however long it's been, now they are married. They got married this weekend. What do you think?
Mazel tov to them.
I mean,
seriously, I cannot get myself recently to care about anything J-Lo, Jen, and Ben.
My own life.
I wish that I could find the energy to care, and I just like don't care that much. So especially because her dress wasn't even like, I'm sorry.
See, Sophie, this is what
I know it was a Vegas wedding, but like she could have had like a serve,
Okay. But let me see, this is where I totally miss it as a guy. I didn't know that was a bad dress. Like, I'm like, oh, cool. She looks pretty. She looks really happy. That's what she looks really happy.
She does.
Ben's in whites.
I'm being a bitch. I'm sorry. She
No,
does
no.
look happy.
By the
That's
way,
all that matters.
Sophie, I saw it on Twitter. I saw the same thing that you're saying, is that this dress could have been a serve. And I'm like, wait a sec. Like, I didn't even think about it in terms of fashion. I was like, holy shit, they did it. Let me read to you what J-Lo wrote you guys on, like, by the way, this is a businesswoman. To see these first pictures, you had to go to like onthejlo.com and put in your email address. And I was like, and then if you want sexy night of wedding shots, you have to pay $99 a month. So that's exciting.
Are you going to?
Oh yeah, I'm totally making that up, but I would pay for a Ben Affleck J-Lo sex tape, 1,000%. So this is what you wrote. We did.
I thought it was like ceremony photos and then like the reception photos.
Yeah.
For $9.99. I was like, oh, that's actually a smart business move.
No, I mean, she did make you put in an email address to see this, so
Yeah,
that is
no,
kind
that's
of wild.
very smart. That's very smart.
She says, we did it. Love is beautiful. Love is kind. And it turns out love is patient. 20 years patient. Exactly what we wanted. Last night we flew to Vegas, stood in line for a license with 4 other couples, all making the same journey to the wedding capital of the world. Behind us, 2 men held hands and held each other. In front of us, a young couple who made the 3-hour drive from Victorville on their daughter's 2nd birthday, all of us wanting the same thing. Geely too. No, for the world to recognize us as partners and to declare our love to the world through the ancient and nearly universal symbol of marriage. We barely made it to the little white wedding chapel by midnight. They graciously stayed open late a few minutes. Let us take pictures in a pink Cadillac convertible, evidently once used by the king himself. But if we wanted Elvis himself to show that, that cost extra, and he was in bed. So with the best witnesses you could ever imagine, a dress from an old movie and a jacket from Ben's closet. Okay, it was a dress from an old movie. We read our own vows in the little chapel and gave one another the rings we'll wear for the rest of our lives. They even had Bluetooth for a short march down the aisle. But in the end, it was the best possible wedding we could have imagined, one we dreamed of long ago and one made real. In the eyes of the state, Las Vegas, a pink convertible, and one another at very, very long last. When love is real, the only thing that matters is marriage, blah, blah, blah. Thank you to the little white wedding chapel. They were right when they said all you need is love. We are so grateful to have that in abundance, a new wonderful family of 5 amazing children, and a life that we have never had more reason to look forward to. Stick around long enough and maybe you'll find the best moment of your life in a drive through Las Vegas at 12:30 in the morning in the Tunnel of Love drive-through with your kids and the one you'll spend forever with. Love is a great thing, maybe the best of things and worth waiting for. It's nice, right? Do you think that was copywritten, or do you think she wrote it?
Probably written by someone else, but did she sign it like Jennifer Affleck? Didn't she?
She didn't, but that would have been a nice touch because you guys.
Wait, I thought she did. I saw something
wait.
going around. Maybe it was like Photoshop that she signed some statement as Jennifer Lynn Affleck.
No, that was the wedding certificate. The wedding certificate actually shows her changing her name from Jennifer Lynn Lopez to Jennifer Lynn Affleck.
I know, but there was like also a statement with like her, name.
You're probably right. I'm just getting this from like notes that I wrote down. So let me hop on real quick and see. Because by the way, this is another one. If you miss those memes, I was like 20 minutes behind trying to catch up to memes. It's just so stressful.
I know.
Going to Not Skinny, Not Fat. I know she had.
Wait, where I'm trying to find it too.
Okay.
I think who was it? Maybe Bravo. Oh yeah.
Okay, you're right. With love, Mrs. Jennifer Lynn Affleck.
I was right.
But she should have said, it should have closed off with love don't cost a thing. And do you think she went down the aisle to Let's Get Loud?
That'd be iconic, actually. Or that would be like the reception. But I guess it was just a Vegas wedding. It was just like it was just
Listen, I'm all for it, man. This is such a nice news story. I don't mind. Like, I don't even need to pick shit at it, except that I was thinking it would be great if you had written that copywriting thing. You had like done Adore Me and J-Lo's. Yeah, if you had written down, you're like,
I was on
and
J-Lo's
nothing says
PR
love
this whole time.
Yes, wouldn't that be amazing?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hire me.
She proved all the haters wrong. Where do you put this in terms of the Courtney Travis Vegas wedding, not the Italy wedding? They had the Vegas wedding first. Let's see. I mean, Vegas is famous for those kind of weddings. I kind of like the Ben J-Lo wedding more than the Kravis wedding in terms of just motion.
It's really unexpected for them. Like, I feel like Courtney and Travis were like, woo, let's mosh.
Yeah.
Trav.
Dude, do you think Travis ever gets pissed off she's like wearing too many of his t-shirts, his like
Yeah.
really nice like metal shirts that he's like, those are worth a lot of money, and she just throws them. She wears them willy-nilly now, you know?
I miss her era. I mean, I know that he was probably a bad guy, but Eunice, remember Eunice Benjamin or
Yeah,
whatever
of
his name
course.
was?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that what his name was? Eunice Benjamin?
Eunice Benjamoni's or something like that. I know. I'm
Whatever it
totally.
was. They were like so chic together. And now it's like, you know, she's
Sophie, what's wrong with you? They were so chic. Just because this guy had a six-pack abs, you're like, they're so chic.
No, their outfits. They always looked very like chic and, you know, really cool outfits put together. Now it's just like, you know, their skeleton onesies that they always wear, her and Travis. So
I mean, yeah, listen. I'm used to Travis dressing that way, but I'm still not fully accepting of Courtney dressing that way.
I'm not either. That's why I miss her old era. I'm sorry.
I just wonder
again, I sound like such a hater. Like these are like happy things. No, I'm happy that she is happy and no longer with Eunice, who sounds like he probably wasn't a good guy. I'd miss her style back then. Is that allowed?
Oh, it's total. I mean, anything's allowed. Do you remember that thing when Jax Taylor worked out at the same gym as Eunice, and he took a picture of Eunice working out? He's like, I hear this guy's in a lot of trouble with Courtney. It was like pre-pandemic, and he had like posted it on his Instagram story. Like, listen, Jax is good for like a good, like dumb post here and there where he doesn't even get how funny it is because he's cheated a bunch in the past, and he's like, hey, look at this poor dummy that cheated on Courtney. You know, I'm like, oh man, that's not good.
Oh my God, Jax.
Okay, so that happened. I don't know, for some reason I want to believe in love always, and I actually am going, like, I already had people on my post go, I give it 2 years, I give it a year. I'm like, I don't, listen, I don't know, like, I don't care if it lasts, but it's nice that it's here right now, I guess, right?
Yeah, I mean, I hope it lasts. I wish them nothing but the best. And that makes sense that her dress was underwhelming, because it really was just like
what movie do you think it was from, though? I wonder.
What wasn't she in The Wedding Planner?
Ooh, The Wedding Planner. Or what if she did a bunch of
that obviously comes to mind first. Made in Manhattan. I don't remember a wedding scene in that movie.
I'm trying to, maybe
Hustlers.
It was like oh, that would be really nice. And that would have it would have been cool if that coincided with her trying to get an Oscar nomination for Hustlers. Did you ever watch the halftime documentary on Netflix about her that was a couple months ago?
No, I still haven't. Maybe that's why I still can't get myself to care about J-Lo. I need to watch the documentary and get invested. But wait, what was the movie? What was it called? Anaconda?
Yeah, with the snake, the big snake. Yeah, that was when she was first coming on the scene. The snake. Well, and Ben Affleck wore the snake skin from Anaconda. Anaconda, if I'm not mistaken, is famous because there's a scene where the anaconda eats Samuel L. Jackson whole, like the whole body.
Yeah.
I could be wrong with the actor, but I think that's what was.
Was it? I don't know. I've like never seen that movie, but I've read about it.
It's horrible. It seems like something you would like really get into.
I know. I probably would like love it.
Okay, so
Samuel L. Jackson was in that movie and Snakes on a Plane.
Yeah, I think he had listen, Samuel L. Jackson, there was a good chance in the late 90s or early 2000s, he was in every third movie. Like he would just pop up randomly in every movie. Well, and also I think
I told you how much I die for the Die Hard franchise.
I die for the first 3 Die Hards. My heart ends with live. Because then once you get to the 4th one, it's like live free and die hard, which is like, what is even count. That? What does that mean? You know,
that doesn't count. But yeah,
I'm so glad Randall never got his hands on a Die Hard movie.
Oh my God. Thank God.
So we have a lot of news. The Ben Affleck one is like a nice little aperitif. I have to give everybody some horrible news. And this is actually just a warning. And especially for my overseas listeners, I know there's Australia especially has a huge listenership, and I don't think you guys have to be concerned yet, but this is something that I would just rather be like, I would rather say more about than say less, because I don't want blood on my hands. Tristan Thompson is on a fuck fest overseas right now, you guys. He is been spotted in Italy. He's been spotted in Mykonos. And it coincides with another story that I wanted to really touch on about how fucking insane it is that Chloe had another baby with this man, even though we all kind of probably suspected it. And he's out there partying. Like, there's footage. TMZ's got footage of him in clubs I think TMZ was the one that said Tristan on his baby moon because he's about, the baby's about to be delivered. I mean, what were your thoughts when you first heard this on Wednesday?
Right. Like, okay, first of all, when I first heard the news, I was like, I'm just not surprised at this point. We've seen that Chloe has no respect for herself. And it honestly sounds like the surrogate may have been pregnant before the whole.
Yeah, the day I love the statement was like, this was before the cheating allegations from December, but after the cheating allegations from the 4 years prior. Like, there's so many cheating allegations. Like, this is what he does best.
Right. Right. That's why I wasn't surprised. I'm just like, okay. Like the whole internet is like, you idiot, Chloe. And it's like, guys, at this point, it's like she is who she is. But when I saw that he was in Mykonos, I was like, wait, weren't the articles specifically saying that the surrogate baby is due any day now?
Yes.
And he's just in Mykonos.
Okay. Sophie, I had this thought today that kind of gave me peace and solace, was that maybe he's not allowed to be around them for the time being. That's why it's go overseas. We don't want you here for the birth.
True.
Because also Tristan is known to not really give a fuck about his children. He just had one he still hasn't met.
Right. They're like, please, we don't need you causing the surrogate any stress like you caused Chloe during her pregnancy.
Dude, a surrogacy is such an amazing thing. And for the people that volunteer to do this stuff, but do you think the surrogate was when they found out was oh, like Chloe, yeah, but then they found out the man was Tristan. She was like, girl, you sure? I mean, do you think they even get to say I'd rather not carry that around? That's bad.
I'm just trying to picture the surrogate at home in her apartment and seeing the news as she has their child inside.
She's got a spoon and ice cream.
Yeah,
she's
ice
feeding.
She's watching Forensic Files, and she gets a TMZ alert on her phone.
Just alerts all the play. And here's the deal, babies are blessings, and it's going to be a boy. And then my dumb thought was is cheating in the DNA? You know what I'm saying? Are we, I understand that the Kardashians are obsessed with having the same father for their children. And that's, obviously, and True,
so
obviously,
dumb. It's so
True's
dumb.
a beautiful baby, all this stuff. But at the same time, this is the part I still don't understand. I ask everybody, and I'm going to ask you, how do you teach your daughter how to be treated by a man if you then chose to have another baby with this man that repeatedly cheated on you, and it kind of made it worse as it went on? Because that means when he had agreed to have the surrogacy, he then still went on the road and nailed this girl and had a baby with her, knowing full well that Chloe was giving him a second shot.
Right. I mean, I'm worried about True in general because she has a mom who is deeply insecure and projects her insecurities clearly on her daughter, photoshopping her photos and making her skin lighter and just really weird. I don't know. I just
photoshops her at Disneyland, for the love of God.
Yeah, it's just there's so many things that are going to be difficult for not just True, but obviously all the Kardashian kids. But yeah, I mean, it's how do you treat your daughter to have self-respect if this is how you're publicly treating yourself? But I read an interesting theory that how Chloe always wanted a boy, and they always said that they're Chloe wanted a boy, she wanted a boy, and she had mentioned before that she knew she would feel jealous of her daughter, which is that might be I'm not a mom, so I don't know if that is remotely normal feelings to have about hoping for a gender. I know some people hope for a certain gender, whatever, but that she wanted a boy because then she could have a little mini Tristan who would have to stay with her forever, and he would grow up because now how True is taller. The other thing is that she's much taller than her siblings,
oh my God,
than her cousins, and it's because Chloe's tall, Tristan's tall. Those genes were meant to have a big boy. She was she's clearly worried about her daughter's size and all of that. I don't know. But anyway,
oh my God, she has a new those Nurtec commercials she's been doing with she has a new one, and it's like another whole, like, it's like fucking the same technology they use in Avatar or something. It is so weird. These nerd tech commercials, it's like, how, of course she has a headache. Her facial structure is changing by our very eyes. And my thought was like, we had just talked about how skinny she's looking and I was like, I wonder if it's the stress of knowing that she was going to have to make this announcement and we were all going to, and that's the other thing too. Like I said this on Friday's show, is that, Amanda, not skinny, but not fat, who I really dig. I really appreciate, like, she's created such a like fucking juggernaut, but she was like, now's the time to put the Tristan hate aside and I'm like, no, we've tried that. Like, no, we're not putting the Tristan hate. Like, I'm not going to do that. Like, listen, I'm not a hater. I love a lot of things, but I'm sorry. I'm going to call it as I see it. And I think Tristan's a very bad dude. And I appreciate Chloe being a good mom, and I think this kid's probably going to have the best mom and family of all time. But the Tristan part of it, no, like, people need to be warned about this dude. Like, truly.
First of all, I love how you were like, I call it like I see it.
Oh, what's that from?
Vanderpump.
What's that from? Oh.
I call it as I see it.
Oh, I got Vanderpump. I got Vanderpump news for you too. Yeah, I call it like I see it.
But yeah, and also it's funny that Chloe is in Nurtec migraine whatever commercials because her face does look like it hurts.
No, I know that you do need headache medicine, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Or what's that? What? Oh, I'd say, wouldn't it be great if the commercial was like she gets off the phone, she's like, just found out Tristan cheated on me again. Oh, these damn migraines won't stop. And then it's like Nurtec for like for the woman that gets cheated on multiple times,
We're gonna for the woman who gets cheated on over and over and over again. We're gonna watch this in 6 months. We have to wait like probably 6 months for this to air on Kardashian season 2.
September 22nd. We got the first preview this week, you guys, where Pete's in it. There's a sexy shower scene where she's like, Pete, do you want to have a shower with me? And he does prop comedy with his cigarettes and tosses them at Chloe and like, I'm gonna get my dick wet. And it's like,
oh my God,
September.
I hated how they're trying to be like so sexual and flirty now. Pete, do you want to shower with me real fast? It's like, why are you asking in front of everyone? First of all, that's like weird.
She knows the cameras are there, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah, in front of like my sister and my mom. I'm just like,
oh, Kim, we love to see Kim happy. We love to see her happy.
You can't let Courtney have anything. Courtney was like the one that had this very like sexually charged, like PDA filled relationship with this like punk tattoo guy. And then Kim was like, nope.
Well, that's what I would.
Yeah, she was like,
"How far do you think it'll go, though?"
Like from that, Courtney, and it's not going to stand.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like Kim could miscalculate at some point and do something so graphic on the show, of like just something we should like nobody wants to see.
Well, did you see that one? It was like at the end of like the finale where she was like, "Oh my God, meet Donna. Donna has seen my vagina. She's like my producer."
And Pete goes, "More than me."
He goes, more than me. And then Donna's like, I've never seen your vagina. Like, what are you even saying? You're just like making shit up to like sound cool.
That's actually a really funny bit. That's Kim's like, that's my AD. He's been with me for 5 years. He's seen the inside of my anus. What are you talking about, Kim?
Yeah,
I have a family. Don't do this to me. Yeah.
She like wouldn't even play along. Like she was like, no, I actually haven't.
Kim, we've talked about this, Kim. I'd appreciate if you didn't do this.
He was like, more than me. And it's like, I still don't think he's ever seen her vagina.
By the way, Pete every day prays to, he's like, if I go on this trip with you, can I finally see your boobs? Please. He's like,
today's the day.
Yeah, Scott. So it's all fake and phony, but September 22nd, the Kardashians are coming back. Kris Jenner is by the way, Kris Jenner is this Corey Gamble, man. He didn't get to go to the Italy wedding for Kravis, but Kris made it up to him, and they are in I think the south of France right now, or they're at this really exclusive club with like they're at Club 55 in Saint-Tropez, and Daily Mail did a big article, and Corey gets to just go on these vacations. The Saint-Tropez, though, is big. I wanted to talk about that. Club 55, DiCaprio and Tobey Maguire are there with a little bit of the mini Pussy Posse. Sophie, Pussy Posse was before your time, wasn't it? You're way younger.
Yeah, but I know it was Leo and Tobey Maguire.
Okay, yeah. So guys, all you youngins listening, the Pussy Posse was a really big thing back after around the Titanic and after the time, but it was David Blaine, the magician, Tobey Maguire, Leo DiCaprio, Lucas Haas, Kevin Connolly from Entourage, and they called themselves they gave themselves the title of the Pussy Posse because they were all about nailing chicks, like hooking up with ladies. And this was like in the early 2000s, the Pussy Posse was like it was kind of like what I imagine like TikTokers or like the guy TikTok podcast guy, like the Bryce Hall and the Logan Paul.
Hall? You think Bryce Hall?
No, not in terms of success level, but in terms of like little girls talking about, like they're like
he's like the Pussy Posse.
Yeah, like a low rent version of.
That reminds me of the Southern Charm episode I was watching of Thomas's dinner party where he goes, "You're a pussy" to Shep, and Shep was like, "You are." Oh gosh, he was like, "You are what you eat."
Wow, nice, dude. That's that's what me and Ronnie were talking about. Do you think Whitney, because Whitney's like Patricia's like stand-in for Michael the butler now? Do you think Whitney is allowed to have sex on premises around his mom? And Ronnie was like, he definitely does. Ronnie was like, Patricia's the kind of mom who was like, Whitney, you better gave it to a good up there, Whitney,
I also love the Whitney impression when they're like, yes, mother.
Do you know Whitney's 57 years old? Did you know that?
Yeah, he's like, yeah.
But he looks good for 57.
Wait, and also the old episodes of the Landon impression. I can't even do it. The dolphin laugh.
Chipmunk. Okay, so off topic. Okay, this is actually so disturbing, you guys. So the trigger warning thing that I'm supposed to do when I say disturbing things, which is like the whole show. Ricky Martin denies alleged sexual relationship with nephew amid claims saying the idea is disgusting. So you guys, this week, this happened 2 weeks ago, but finally we're getting more details. The person that accused Ricky Martin of sexual misconduct was his young nephew. And we're finally getting word from Ricky's camp saying that is not true. This kid is struggling mentally. He's threatened to kill people before. I do not know what to believe, but I do know this, where he's from. These allegations can run up to like, he could be facing 50 years in prison.
Yeah. So that's the thing. I think a lot of the headlines were like, Ricky Martin arrested for incest, facing 50 years in prison. I don't think, to my knowledge, he's been actually charged yet. It was just that his nephew came out and said this stuff. And from what I was reading, it sounds like the nephew is extremely mentally ill and actually had been accused of what he's accusing Ricky Martin of, which is like stalking and like being a weirdo to an ex.
Yeah.
Like
his nephew's Dennis Yadil Sanchez, and he is he's accusing Ricky of incest, domestic violence, said they had a 7-month relationship. His nephew is 21 years of age. And the quote from Ricky's camp is, unfortunately, the person who made this claim is struggling with deep mental health challenges. Marty Singer, Martin's attorney, told Fox News Digital. Marty Singer is one of those like Hollywood pit bulls. I guess the best you could get in something like this. It says Ricky Martin has, of course, never been and would never be involved in any kind of sexual or romantic relationship with his nephew. The idea is not only untrue, it's disgusting. But I just think, and then they're saying, the other side is saying, Ricky Martin exercised physical and psychological attacks against this family member and was stalking him then. I just, man, like this is beyond the pale. Like this would be shocking.
I know. Yeah, it definitely is extremely shocking. I'm not going to rush to judgment just yet because it seems like and I'm, you guys know me. I'm a believer of believe victims. It sounds like this is a very troubled person. And I think that Ricky Martin, everyone instantaneously just, was like, oh my God.
Well, people want to believe the worst. We're prime. Well, and also what I hate is this angle, and especially nowadays with all the Supreme Court rulings and all that, of sexual deviancy with homosexuals. And I just feel like that kind of talk is so bullshit. Like, don't even bring that into the conversation, because I will show you heterosexual like villainy in terms of sexual abuse way more than like, but I just hate that it's even being framed like that in opposed to gay marriage now. Like, that conversation to me is so ridiculous. Ricky Martin himself says, because it's an ongoing legal matter, I cannot make detailed statements at this time. I am grateful for the countless messages of solidarity, and I receive them with all my heart. So I love your thing about in this, like, maybe we should stop rushing to judgment until we get all the facts, you know?
Right. I think that in this case, if you spend 5 seconds reading or researching the victim or the alleged victim, he sounds like a very troubled person who's been accused of stalking and doing bad things, and and he just in 1 second, Ricky Martin is like, his
whole career. Imagine somebody that's worked like, I mean, because I was just watching this HBO documentary series on Menudo, where Ricky Martin started, which was like kind of the Spanish, like pop, like kind of the NSYNC, and Ricky Martin was a part of that. And it was really fascinating. This documentary series on HBO about Menudo. You guys should check it out.
I actually just listened to a podcast about Lou Pearlman and how he started.
Was it Beyond the Blinds?
Boys and NSYNC. No, it was Swindled. It was like one of my true crime podcasts, but it talks about, scammers.
You got to see the Lou Pearlman documentary. I think it's on YouTube still. It is so,
I'm gonna have to watch
that dude, and he died in prison, Lou Pearlman,
He was not a good guy.
Not a good guy. Dude. Well, also this has a lot of people up in arms, potentially. Good news for some, bad news for others. I don't know where I really stand on this. And I know you've been watching Ultimate Girls Trip. Tamra Judge will be returning to the Real Housewives of Orange County. The quote is, Tamra is thrilled to come back. She's more than thrilled to come back to the show, especially after feeling the fan love from her stint on Ultimate Girls Trip. An insider tells us she can't wait to get back in the mix on Real Housewives of Orange County and see how she can shake up that dynamic. Another source close to Judge 54 says, also added that the next installment of the reality show is expected to revolve around Tamra, which is new news for me. But also the other thing about this in the Ultimate Girls Trip, we already got our Tamra's first fight is Jill Zarin. Supposedly, you guys leaked the news on Saturday on her Instagram. And then Tamra went online and did, Jill, you thirsty bitch, and like went after Jill.
I didn't get like why she was so mad at Jill.
Well, don't you think that's a little bit of like, it's like pro wrestling. I'm going to give him a show, baby. I
can see that. How Jill, you mean Tamra wanted to give a show, or Jill was like, I'm going to steal the attention and be in all the headlines now?
Both. I think, but also Jill then retort after the change goes, I don't know why Tamra said the mean thing she said. I'm very happy that Tamra's coming back, and I'm very happy. And everybody already knew this information. This rumor's been going around for 2 weeks. I'm not saying I don't have any insider information. I read something and just said, that's what I thought it was. So this rumor has been going around for a long time. And I thought this was actually going to happen, but Jill is great. And they keep calling her thirsty on Girls Trip, which is then Tamra calling her thirsty. I almost just thought it was like another way to promote Girls Trip in a way. Like, I don't know if Tamra really meant it. Like, do you really care? They're saying though that Jill ruined Tamra's big moment. Do you think that's true?
I don't think it's that big of a deal. No, but
exactly.
I do wish that it were Vicky instead, because Tamra, like, I want to watch Vicky.
You said this last week.
Yeah, like I want to watch Vicky date and like she is kind of in a turning point or a crossroads. What does Tamra have going on? It's like same husband.
Here's my podcast with Freddie Mellencamp.
Yeah, it's like, here's my podcast. Like, what else is she doing? Like, I'm just not that interested. Like, I do enjoy watching Tamra, but I enjoy watching Vicky more. And I would have very much enjoyed. Did they announce the Alexis thing was like not real?
Well, Alexis so far it's not real, but I could see it being real in the future. I do not have any information to say that is 100% true. It's just what I heard, but I don't want to put out
someone else they announced.
They announced like fire or like people not getting their contracts renewed. So now it's Heather, Shannon, And but Vicky supposedly is very upset about this because there's been some like texts and yeah, Vicky supposedly left a comment under Jill Zarin's thing saying, yeah, I don't know why Tamara's so mad about this and why she said this about you. So Vicky then went over to Jill Zarin's side on this, which is like, man, pick up the cameras for this. This is so wasted on social media. You're not making money off this, folks. Like, or at least Bravo is not making money.
I need to watch Ultimate Girls Trip, a new season every year.
Well, you're going to. The third season is being filmed right now. In fact, other news, I don't know if you...
But with this cast.
Well, did we talk about that? Or I get confused now. But wouldn't it be great if Dorinda, if they just do it at Bluestone Manor every year and either do this cast or have Dorinda be the ringmaster and she just gets loaded every, like,
how about if your son died?
Dude, to make you feel for Brandy is wild. Like Dorinda just says shit and you see Dorinda going like, oh shit, like the next day, especially there was a nice episode of Girls Trip. They had a Christmas themed episode and it was actually nice. And you could tell Dorinda's like, you know what? I'm not going to drink that much. And I got to tell you, Dorinda was amazing in that episode. Wasn't she still like fun and like,
she fine? Was, I think the whole cast has been like amazing. Like Taylor Armstrong has been great.
They've all had their moments.
Don't talk to me like that.
She dips down and up. She goes down. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Well, in fact, saying that, and I don't want to, but Tamara to me was like one of the weaker ones on Girls Trip because every time she gets upset, like she'll just kind of pull tears out. And that's not the Tamara I remember. The other thing I want to talk about, and this is delicate as well. I tweeted this out and it got like, you know what? It's just, listen, this is just my opinion, but I think I have things to back it up. Also, I want to state this too, is that I think most housewives are Republicans. So this really has nothing to do with the political sphere. I do not want to platform Tamara's son, Ryan. I've said this many times on the show for the last 3 years. One of my big jokes that I've made for 3 years is, remember that last season where his hair didn't even want to be around him and it just all fell out? Yeah. Like this dude has threatened his wife, threatened gun violence. I can show you, this has all been well documented, told his wife to kill himself, has spread misinformation right and left, is in that QAnon kind of shit. And my thing is, listen, people have told me Tamara's not talking to her son. I just don't. And people are like, oh, you don't want to give voice to the other side? No, I'll give voice to Republicans all you want. I will not give, I don't want to give a voice especially in this.
It's not Ryan. Yeah.
But like, I don't want to give a voice to somebody that's like brandishing guns and like photographs and like threatening their ex. And I don't know, man, like it's too far for me. And I hope people can understand the difference there. This isn't a Trump thing. This is somebody that's threatened women with gun violence and has police reports against him. I don't want to platform. I'm fine with Tamara coming back. Like she'll stir it up, I'm sure. But that to me, I just don't want to, I'd rather just have like Eddie working out,
Yeah, I agree. We don't need his son.
Yeah. I mean, I think,
her son, I mean, we don't need him. Ryan, that's his name, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Ryan.
Ryan.
Yeah. Right. I want Ryan, not Ryan.
Ryan.
I want to see what's going on with Ryan.
But yeah, no.
But people were like mad. People were mad that I said that. I'm like, it's okay to say things that you're like, I truly think that's kind of dangerous. Like that's okay to say that,
I agree. But Vicky completely outshone Tamara on Ultimate Girls Trip. Like,
oh, totally. I mean, Vicky's uniquely Vicky. Like nobody is like Vicky, Did you watch Real Housewives? Oh, by the way, do you think they'll let her continue on with the podcast? The two peas in the pod?
Why wouldn't they?
Well, because it's all like inside information and stuff like that.
They might like tell her to not talk about certain things, but like Paige still does like Giggly Squad with Hannah, and they just like don't talk.
What's Giggly? What's that? What is Giggly Squad?
Wait, are you serious?
Was that like a dance troupe?
Giggly Squad?
I'm joking. No, I'm joking. I know. I totally know. What
I thought you were
serious. I'm joking. Giggly Squad's really popular. I'm not. I just like to be an asshole. Erica Jane. Oh, by the way. Somebody sent me this. I forgot to send it to you. Some YouTuber like some big YouTuber bachelor person played us talking about Nick Viall on their YouTube show. And
wait, could you send me the link?
I will send it to you, but he agreed with us. But it was just like, and then I was more impressed by his set. And so I was like, wow, this guy's got a cool set. Like it was like, look at this shit.
Wait, people loved that rant of ours. People love
People
that
really
rant.
do not. I mean, listen, people, I guess, like Nick. I just am not going to let Nick Vile go out there and act like he's some kind of like hippie dude that knows how it goes. Like, like I'll tell you your love life,
Listen,
girl.
listen, ladies.
Listen,
Just because he shares a toothbrush with you doesn't mean you're his girlfriend. Okay?
listen, that just because like just because he's like, here's my 23-year-old girlfriend. I'm going to tell you advice on
Yeah,
how to
and I
keep
guess
you.
there was some like drama where him and his girlfriend were like talking shit about Katie, all because
Yeah,
Katie Thurston,
Thurston. Yeah.
all because she was like, yeah, I blocked Nick, like he just like wasn't that nice to me or something. Like it was like something fairly innocuous, and they went on like a rant about her. And I was like, first of all, your girlfriend is 12. Second of all, Nick, you're such a hypocrite. Like he talks shit about everyone all day.
Well, that's the
Like,
thing. I mean, that's that's his bread and butter, And by the way, his girlfriend is really young, really beautiful, and I know she also has a I think a nurse, like a health degree or something. Like she seems like a smart girl, but at a certain point, that's you're standing up for your dude who's Nick Vile. Like it just I don't
yeah,
know.
it's like, is it worth it? No.
Uh,
Remember when he just like got like a bunch of random tattoos at once? Like, you know how some people like build up over the years, they'll get
no,
to
this guy gets a full sleeve immediately,
yeah, he was just like, I want to be like that tatted up guy. He's like, I want to be tatted up.
All this
Yeah,
no,
with like the most generic, with like a butterfly.
yeah, or like this
And
is
like
an anchor. This is
antlers.
an anchor. It symbolizes me trying to have a foundation. Yeah, me
Oh
trying to have a
yeah.
foundation. Yeah. This is well, some of these people, man, a long time ago, I dated this girl for a minute and she was like obsessed with these tattoos, like this one tattoo artist, and she would get like these mini tattoos, but they were always like, but none of them like meant anything to her. It was just like she really thought it was just like, oh, they're just like kind of cool, like Brooklyn kind of like tattoo. And I was like,
Actually, I don't have any tattoos because I was
dude,
raised
next week you're gonna be fully tatted.
I
Well,
know I'm
Jewish
gonna come with
religion
a
also,
sleeve.
you're not supposed to do that, right?
Well, no, listen, that is literally an urban legend in the Jewish religion. Every Jewish parent, it's not true.
For
Every
real.
Jewish parent tells their children it's against your religion to get tattoos. You won't be able to get buried in a Jewish cemetery if you have tattoos or piercings, which, first of all, I do have my ears pierced. So, like, what difference would tattoos make if that were the case? But apparently, that's an urban legend, and you can be a good Jew and get tattoos. But for me, it's like, it's too late in my life where I'm like, and I'm also too indecisive. Like, how do people decide on
That's
something
it
they want
exactly.
to have forever?
But okay, so there was one time I've told this man, like one time I was really close to getting It's All Happening right in the exact place that Sheena
Yeah, you
did.
should
But then
have.
it was just like, but then it was like after that first laugh, you then still have the It's
You're
All
just
Happening
stuck
on
with
your,
it.
then as you're just stuck with it. And then I was like, it's so sad. I was trying to think of the things that I really like in life. And I was like, people would be like, you should get a Batman tattoo. And I'm like, I'm a fucking dork, but please, like, I'm not going to get a Batman tattoo. Like,
Wait,
could you imagine me with a Batman tattoo? Like, I love
you should
Batman. He's awesome.
you should get a Morbius tattoo.
Yeah, that's well, then the other people are like, oh, then I'm getting ironic tattoos. Like I've just decided, screw it. Like I'm totally giving up and I'm just gonna do all ironic or like live,
Yeah,
laugh, love tattoo or something.
it's all
Um,
happening. No, you should get the Phoenix Rising back tattoo, but it's Morbius.
Speaking of guys in love, like Nick Vile, Nick Cannon, you guys, who's had a lot of ups and downs, in the same week that he did an interview saying that he wants to get back together with Mariah Carey, that deep down they belong together. He posted something, trying to make people think that he got engaged. And his caption was, I said I would never do it again, but ... finally doing what the world wants me to do, and had an engagement ring with his girl. And my thing was like, dude, nobody told you we wanted you to get engaged. We just said we wanted you to stop sleeping with people and getting them pregnant. Like there's a huge difference there.
Right.
But I
And
don't know if he's truly, or if that was a joke or not.
like, so we don't know if he actually is. And
No, but he did say
something. Yeah, he said something like, I'm gonna have 3 more children probably by the end of the year.
That's what this one interview said. Hey, do you think you could put a number on like how many more kids you're going to have? And he's like, or like, and they said, at least by the end of the year. What do you think? 2, 3? And he goes, yeah, definitely 2 or 3, but I don't want to put a number on it. And it's like, that's like a threat. That's a veiled threat.
how does he afford this? Like, I really don't understand.
I think that's why he wants to eventually get back with Mariah, because Mariah makes like Mariah, like every time December rolls around, Mariah's already a legend, but every time December, she makes her yearly nut every December, those first couple of weeks, because of that Christmas song.
Yeah,
She
true.
imagine having to be one of Nick's other kids related to the kids with Mariah.
Oh God.
And he's always trying to get Mariah to pay for all the kids,
I
for like
mean, yeah,
family
it's
fun
like
day.
you have to think about the lives of these children that, are going to want to have their father around, and Nick Cannon's going to have too many to be able to be around any of them.
Dude, I have bad time with names as is. I have people close to me that I'll forget their names. Like, and this is, I wouldn't even have, like, I would just start doing like happy dad. Like, what are the little dwarves? The seven little Disney, like
The
Happy
Snow White,
Dancy
Sesame
slash.
Street.
Yeah. Like I would do something that I would like know. I would name them after like favorite, or I
Oh,
would name them
like
after Vanderpump Rules.
Sophie.
Like this is Jax, this is Tom, this is Schwartz.
Being
Um,
spoiled, man.
um, okay, so let's see. Moving right along. You did this article about Army Hammer and your Substack, which you guys should go to subscribe for a couple bucks a month. It gives you a lot of like kind of good information, and I always really I do actually learn something every time I read it. But the Army Hammer stuff we'd started talking about last week, and there was a lot of information that came out this week. In fact, the biggest one is that Robert Downey Jr., famed actor and star of Iron Man, paid for 6 months of Army Hammer's rehab.
Uh-huh.
And now Army Hammer is supposedly back in Los Angeles living at Robert Downey Jr.'s mansion. What
Yeah.
is going on, Sophie?
Yeah, and apparently Robert Downey Jr. is like funding his life, financing his life right now because he was cut off by his parents, hence the timeshare salesman job. But yeah, it's
Which
like,
I think is bullshit. I think I think that's all public PR. Like,
I
I
know,
just
I
don't
think
buy
so
it. I don't
too.
buy it.
I mean, I wrote that. I do think that his family has never been as rich as everyone thinks they are,
I agree
because
with that.
his grandfather, his father, grandfather, I don't freaking know, Armand Hammer Sr.,
Armand Hammer, yeah.
like lost everything and scammed a bunch of people and had like fraudulent art scams, something like that. I need like a podcast episode about that. But yeah, so I don't think he has that much money to begin with. But yeah, I think that they're trying to do the whole like PR spin, like, oh, look at him. He's so downtrodden. And he's just trying to pull himself
He's
back.
a good man that cuts his hair and tucks his shirt in and looking, he deserves a second chance. Don't we all deserve a second chance?
One shoe on, one at a time, just like everyone else.
Salt of the earth in the Cayman Islands.
It's like, no, don't fall for it. And also like Robert Downey Jr., and this was like the Vanity Fair piece that I was reading, that like they were like, comparing the two, how like Robert Downey Jr. almost like had his whole career was over almost. And
yeah.
He was almost homeless, and he turned it around. And
he was
like,
deep into his drug addiction. Deep. Yeah.
He was a drug addict. He wasn't an accused rapist. So
that was Sophie. That's exactly what I wanted to point out, you guys, because you'd be like, well, yeah, maybe that is like, and Robert Downey Jr. did go through something so tough and he really found his way back. But there's a difference between drug addiction, or at least in my head, and abuse towards women. I think there's a weird, I don't know, like sometimes it's hard not to feel like there's some like kind of either boys club or a rich person's club that we're just not a part of. And they're like, no, we're going to make this guy a millionaire again. We're going to make this guy. There's no doubt in my mind that this guy is going to be doing movies again fairly soon, if not has already started. Well, because if Robert Downey Jr. is behind you, by the way, Robert Downey Jr., the other person he's stood up for in the past?
Mel Gibson.
Yeah. He worked with Mel Gibson. He got Mel Gibson a couple of his first roles back after the Mel Gibson stuff, where he had made the anti-Semitic statements when he was drunk and all of that stuff.
That tells you all you need to know. Like Robert Downey Jr. it's like the boys club, where it's like, why? If that's the type of person that he is like defending, then I'm not going to trust his word, because Mel Gibson is definitely not a good person. Armie Hammer, from everything we know, certainly isn't. Like, fuck off, Robert Downey Jr.
it's just something interesting. It's interesting to see who's getting involved and stuff. And also, like, I know Robert Downey Jr. probably thinks in his head he's doing these kind of noble, good things. And listen, I don't know. We talk about this all the time. I question in my head what forgiveness is and how do you forgive. But I think when it then coincides with, oh, we need to get this guy back to making hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. To me, that's where it's like weird for me. It's like forgiveness does exist, but then we don't give these people so much power that they're able to influence. Like that to me is the weird part. Like I want Army to make if he's really made up his, if he's really went to rehab for 6 months and all that, I want him to have his family and be a good person and make a living and stuff. I just don't know if I need him to be the rock and roll movie star that he wanted to be, you know?
He also has real victims like out in the world. Whereas like Robert Downey Jr., to my knowledge, the only victim was himself because he was a drug addict.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure his family and his close friends and all that stuff.
Like, drug addicts, obviously, it affects everyone around them, but like he wasn't out victimizing people on purpose like Armie Hammer was, allegedly.
Yeah, so, I'm really weird. If we hear this many stories, though, in a row, that means we're really on the precipice of a big comeback.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I hope not.
Congrats to Lisa Rinna. She's the face of Alexander Wang. I don't know if you saw that Alexander Wang had.
Alexander Wang is an accused rapist too.
Oh,
so, yeah, makes total sense.
Yeah. By the way, I'm having Maritza make an image of that, but it's Alexander Wang outlet stores. Oh, I probably shouldn't, because I think it'd be funny if Lisa Rinna was the face of an outlet store.
Funny.
Heyo, Beverly Hills. Did you watch it this week?
Yes. And
what did you think? Because Diana, we had the whole Diana Sutton like,
oh my,
it was not. No. I can't believe you believe me.
So you say that I know. So you say that I know. So you say.
It was like a ping pong with like two kind of like not people that are great at ping pong,
So funny. It was so funny.
I had Ronald Richards on earlier this week, and he kept me. He let me know where Erica Jane was with. Dude, Erica Jane is effed for the rest of her life, in just terms of the lawsuits that are coming out against her. I mean, we even have Nicolas Cage's ex now suing Erica Jane because like Tom Girardi,
she was like a car crash victim, and she used Girardi and Keith's law firm and
awarded $924,000, and she did not know where her money went until now.
Yeah, she never got her settlement, and she was like, And now
isn't that wild?
Yeah.
Jen Shaw, what did you think about that? We had just talked about Jen Shaw last Sunday, that the court case was coming up, and Monday morning, Jen Shaw changed her plea. What were your thoughts?
Wow. I'm curious, like, how she's going to go about, because they were already filming. Like, I imagine the whole season before this moment, she's been lying and just being like,
that's what I want to know,
Your Honor. And now it's like, okay, you've been literally lying out of your asshole, and we're going to watch you plead guilty all of a sudden. Like, how are you going to explain that? I mean, clearly she's backed into a corner and she has no other choice, and Stu Chain's turned against her. Either way, it sounds like she's going to prison for at least 14 years, like at the least.
But Meredith Marks had just posted the Instagram story of, in this country, I am in America. Are we allowed to call her guilty now that she said she's guilty, or does Meredith?
What a clown.
I mean, truly, I really want to know, though, because I feel like she would tell Heather and Meredith at least before she did that. Like, she was like smiling in those photos last week with all three of those ladies. When did they know? That's what I want to know.
Sorry about that.
No, all good.
I'm just so popular.
Wait, are you going out tonight with your dude?
No. He actually he's in Vegas for work.
Oh, with the boys.
I know. I was like,
is he with Drake?
No, it's like some like finance conference. But I was like, are you gonna get a stripper pregnant? Yeah. What did I ever do to you? That's what I kept saying. And he was like, what are you talking about?
Start writing fan fiction on your Twitter tonight.
I actually was. I told you I've been watching Southern Charm nonstop, just rewatching it from the beginning, and I was watching it with him last night. And he
Tell
was
him to
like,
drop a location pin. Drop a location pin.
true, that's a good point. I was like, have fun with your show, girls.
A couple more stories before this always goes way too fast. Oh, also really fun fact though about the Tristan Thompson partying. Supposedly TMZ saying that Tristan was partying with Cheney Jones, Kanye's ex. Do these girls all just get past? I mean, like the
and I've always wondered, I'm like, how can I be one of those girls that's just like just in the scene with like all of the celebrities and like dating the athletes? Like, I want to be that.
But it's like Chloe using the Tristan sperm for another child. It's like, I feel like this is the same kind of logic of like, we can only talk to these three girls and we just pass them all around, you know, like Cheney Jones is.
It's strange.
Speaking of Kanye news, you guys, he returned to Instagram this week to say that he urgently needed a meeting with the chairman of Gap, which is like, okay, yeah, use it for like, you know, connections and networking. But then he also dropped out today of Miami's Rolling Loud Music Festival, which he has been scheduled to be doing for like the last 3 or 4 months. They've already sold tickets for this thing. He was the headliner on Friday night. He dropped out. Rolling Loud made a statement, you know, and you could tell they were not happy, saying we have worked with his team for months. You know, and guess who's filling in for Kanye on Friday night now?
The Weeknd.
Pete Davidson. No. Kid Cudi. But wouldn't that be great if it was Pete Davidson doing Kanye songs?
Pete Davidson, like, was it a Manscaped commercial? It
yes.
Was a commercial.
Dude, he goes, guys, let's see how not hairy we can get or something. Like Pete, sometimes these guys, it's like him, Chris Pratt, and a couple other, like the dude from Schitt's Creek and Kate McKinnon. It's like all of a sudden they must need the most money in the world because Chris Pratt, I'm like, dude, slow down, man. Like, you don't need to do, like, what's going on in your life that you're stockpiling money like this?
Chris Pratt is like so insecure about how Twitter hates him that
I know. Well, it does gotta suck to be hated. Well,
he's like clearly so insecure about it. He talks about it all the time. So like, if he didn't talk about it, I think people would just like get over it. But it's the fact that he's always like, you know, everyone hates me. I'm just misunderstood. They think I'm like some like super religious Christian.
He's like, I'm a dummy. I'm a fucking dummy, you guys.
Like, so he probably is worried genuinely that like he's not going to get booked for movies in the future because public opinion of him like isn't great. At least,
well, he did all of them. He's done all of them in the last year. He's done every movie that's out right now. I feel
he's probably just like, got to get the money while I can, while everyone still tolerates me.
But Kanye's still pulling that shit where now he's like truly getting known for like just backing out of festivals. Like he did it with Coachella. He did it with this. I mean, like, I guess if you're a billionaire, you don't give a shit. But like, dude, at a certain point, I mean, I guess all one good album would fix all of that. Okay, here's the deal. You are one of the biggest fans of this person. And I need your opinion because Mayer. I thought, yep. Yeah, John Mayer is so
host.
Thursday night, you guys, Andy Cohen from Bravo, I think you guys have all heard of him. He posted a photo of John Mayer looking at him across from a dinner table. And John Lemon looked like he got highlights in his hair and it looks great. Fancy watch on John. He got the sleeve tattoo. Yeah, John Mayer. Yeah.
John Legend.
Oh, sorry, John Mayer, not John Legend. Well, by the way, if Andy hooked up with John. So John Mayer looking lovingly at Andy Cohen. And the caption is 10-10 would smash. Now,
I feel like they like to queer bait in that way. Andy isn't queer baiting because he actually is queer.
Andy's gay. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's not queer baiting, but like,
what if we find out Andy's straight as hell and he's been doing this whole career for like a time?
That was like the Harold and Kumar movie, the Christmas one with Neil Patrick Harris, where Neil Patrick
you're playing Neil Patrick Harris.
So he can pick up girls. Anyway, no, I actually do believe Andy Cohen's really gay. But
when do we start that rumor, dude? Wait, would you go on? I know you gotta do, but will you say a couple years ago I hooked up with Andy Cohen? Would you mind saying that on the pod so we could start that rumor?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you guys dated for a second.
Yeah, our first date was at Waverly Inn.
You were many times in the Watch What Happens Live audience. I think I saw you a couple
Uh-huh.
years ago there. Yeah.
Yep, I could, obviously I was never, shouted out or anything, kind of brushed me under the rug, but that's what he does.
Dude, sometimes, I mean, this is like really dark, but like sometimes I'm like for the stuff I love and stuff, like I wish I was gay. Like, or I wish like sometimes I want to be the Andy, like, hey man, I'm gay. Like, so he'll talk to me, like, do you ever like, cause I'll be like, I'm like, cause I'll make my smartest comments and I never really,
That's
but
like,
I want Andy to like me, like I truly want him. I want to know Andy, not sexually. I just want to know him.
no, yeah, totally, totally.
So you're saying potentially this is just teasing the audience. And I think there is a bit of teasing there, but also Andy Cohen then did introduce the dead at Citi Field this weekend. And he patted John on the back on the way out. And these guys are obviously very close friends. And I'm not trying to make a joke about love, but like at the same time, I have one account from somebody that is reputable saying that they have hooked up before, which by the way, there is nothing wrong with being there. I mean, like bisexuality exists, like all of this stuff exists. Would it bother you as a huge John Mayer fan? Not that he's gay, but like, would it bother you if Andy Cohen got John over you?
I'd be jealous. I'd be jealous.
But you wouldn't care.
Of John Mayer's hookups. I wouldn't get like mad or angry. I'd just be personally jealous.
Yeah. I immediately acted like a 13-year-old under the comment section and said, if we can get this to 500,000 likes, can we make this happen?
I mean, like, maybe it has. Maybe it has. We don't know.
I would truly like that would be so exciting for the Bravo audience. In fact, I think that should be a segment at BravoCon, like watch John and Andy hook up. It'd be like a Bravo add-on. You'd pay extra for that,
I loved when he was the bartender and Watch What Happens Live and he asked Andrea if he considered the name Andrea Nuggets.
So, quick things. Drake was arrested supposedly overseas for weed possession. We still really don't know fully if this is true or not, even though Drake added fuel to the fire, posting on his Instagram that he got arrested in Sweden and posted like these photographs saying information for those suspected of a crime and subsequently detained. It was like a Swedish authorities, aka Polisen. So supposedly Drake got arrested last week and his camp first said, no. And now Drake's leaning into it. So supposedly Drake got arrested overseas last week, but we don't have full information about that. So we'll keep you posted on that.
It's like we're so used to, I guess, in the US right now, like lax weed laws or no weed laws at all. And
it is weird. Yeah.
It's really sad in some cases, like Brittany Griner in Russia.
Oh man. Dude, imagine how scared she's got to be over there. Like she's in Russia. The guys, this is the women's basketball player that she had some hashish oil, I believe. And it's really scary. I mean, to be there and not know when you're going to ever be released, if ever, Yeah,
it sounds like she just had a little weed cartridge, which is like no big deal to like, most people. Like I've traveled with a weed cartridge in the United States, not internationally, but like, yeah.
FBI, get her, FBI.
I'm sorry.
Tariq El Masua, or however you say his name, and Heather Ray Young from Selling Sunset are expecting their first child. This made me feel nothing. How about you?
I'm happy for them. I feel like Heather really wanted to be a mom. I think Christine's like PR, like whirlwind, whatever is happening with Christine is like bizarre. Like she was just in the New York Times. Like I just
dude, her PR is the best PR known to man.
It's so weird because there's nothing interesting about her, and she actually was just an evil person on the show. So why are we like giving her a platform or celebrate? Like, let's not show people that bullying can like, get you money, that you can get rich off of just being a bully and a horrible person.
Finally, Lala Kent breaks down that where she stands with the Pump Rules cast. She has agreed to film season 10. She said she didn't make that decision until the night before. But I saw the first night. Well, I saw the first night of filming on Wednesday night.
You should leave. Who is that?
Oh, who is it?
Heather Dubrow to Shannon. No, she didn't say it like that. She goes, "You need to leave." That's what it was.
I was there on Wednesday night, the first night of filming Vanderpump Rules this past week, and DJ James Kennedy was The gang's all back together, man. I did not see Lala. They were at Tom Tom earlier, and then they came to Tom Tom to Sir, and you saw DJ James Kennedy doing his DJ bit. Raquel was serving. Well, okay, so I don't want to get in trouble, and I don't want to. Overheard him talk. He had a scene with the girls talking about Red Bull, like that's what he's drinking is Red Bull. And Raquel was the server. He was talking about Graham being a dog dad to Graham, their dog. I will say I saw Schwartz and Katie having a conversation. Sandoval was there, Ariana was there, Lisa was there, one of the dogs, Ken, Peter, the whole crew was there. I don't know, I was only there for like 30 minutes just to check it out and see it. And Schwartz and Sandy supposedly gets open this week, or they're doing their first party this week at Schwartz and Sandy's.
Oh my god, I want to check out Schwartz and Sandy's.
Dude, when are you coming back?
I need to figure it out. Potentially, actually, August.
Dude, are you bringing your dude?
No, it might be like a little girls trip with like my sister, potentially.
Well, let me know. I mean, because especially with the Schwartz and Sandy's thing. Okay, I think that's it. Is there anything? I know I'm missing 80 billion things. Oh, The Weeknd's new show on HBO that he is in and produced with the dude that did Euphoria. Is coming out on HBO. Did you see the trailer for this? From the sick and twisted mind of
Sam Levinson. And it's like, oh my God, please.
And you guys, it's immediately like, Hollywood, blow, hookers, dancers. Yeah. And it's Johnny Depp's daughter. What's her name? Lily Rose. And The Weeknd, Abel Tesfaye, it looks like he's the lead. New hairstyle in this. I've always thought of The Weeknd as one of the most creative people, and I do dig his music, but also his acting is never I know he loves acting so much. He always dresses up in characters and stuff. I'm really curious to see if he can act or not. I really am curious to see if he can hold his own series. This is also the show, you guys, that supposedly was racked with production delays. They shot for 3 months and then just got rid of all the footage or something. I don't know if that's true, but I'm very interested to see this. But it just seems like that kind of Euphoria, editing, drugs, sex, all of that stuff.
I know, it's nothing interesting to say. It's just glossy, risky.
It's like Selling Sunset, but darker. And yeah. I'll watch the hell out of it. What's coming up for you this week, Sophie? What do we got to be aware of? By the way, was there any new movement on what we had talked about last week with the Daily Harvest? Any deaths? Anything on your mind this week in terms of things that we should be paying attention to?
No, they're just definitely they keep putting out bland statements that they still haven't found what was causing the sickness, but they're still just shipping out their food anyway. So yeah. I mean, we'll see what happens. It should be interesting.
Yeah, no. And Below Deck, Monday nights, you guys, Tuesday nights. I mean, there's so many shows right now. You got Beverly Hills is kind of, I still think I'm still digging Beverly Hills. Oh, by the way, this was a Hanukkah. I didn't really, why is it that Hanukkah is spelled Hanukkah with an H, but also it can be spelled CHAU? Why?
Can spell it because it doesn't come from the English language, so it just depends on how it's transliterated, I guess, from Hebrew.
Did you like Jagaloo explaining why Hanukkah exists?
Cute. He's so
Mommy, I'm little Jagaloo. Explain. I want him to explain everything. He did it better. It's the first time I've understood.
I know, he was so cute.
Sophie Ross, you guys, her podcast is called So True with Sophie Ross, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Do us a favor, go check it out. Leave a positive review. It really does help. She's going to be coming back in August with new episodes. The Substack, every week, there's going to be a new article written. And also, if you just want to impress your friends, listen, pop culture should be respected, and pop culture and good writing and actually interesting things that you can bring up in conversation with your friends. That's something that we should celebrate and champion. So go sign up for the Substack as well. Anything else coming up this week that we need to support with?
No, I'm just watching Southern Charm.
I am worried for you a little bit that you're watching. Wait, the Shep thing of if you were Taylor Shep's girlfriend, would you he's literally he's like, I can't believe you almost got pregnant, dummy. I almost saw the light.
I don't want kids, but I'm just going to keep banging my girlfriend unprotected.
And then Caleb goes, yeah, I mean, I don't know what he'd expect. Like, I don't know why they're having sex without a condom. And then Caleb goes, I guess because it feels good. Like, yeah, Caleb, that's probably why, man. Like,
Just get a freaking vasectomy. Like,
but also
why?
if you were his girlfriend, isn't Shep kind of being like telling you that like, yo, man, I don't want to really take it further than this.
Whenever it's like, I don't see myself getting married, it's like, to you is what they mean. For some people, it's like, I guess that's real, but like, I don't know.
Yeah. So Southern Charm actually is one of those shows, though, even though it's like really different than what it was, I still weirdly, it's like melatonin. I enjoy watching it. It relaxes me. So go check out the new season of Southern Charm. But also, if you do have Peacock, you can go back and watch all of these shows from the beginning and you will be blown away. You guys, we'll talk to Sophie next week, hopefully. And I hope you guys have the best week ever. Thank you. So, and guys, today is my mom's birthday. And when you're listening to this, so please think about, give a little thought to Becky Bailey today. Okay.
Oh, HBD Becky.
Happy birthday.